Magic of Relationships, Part 3, Tools for Creating Relationships Based on Love, with Dr. Emmett Miller. And this is our third and perhaps final program on the magic of relationships. We're going to learn to apply the very powerful theories and discoveries we've been exploring in our previous two sessions. We've seen that there's very strong evidence that those who have many warm relationships live longer, are healthier, and happier. That's by studies, scientific studies. We've seen how exclusive use of the old paradigm, what I call the old paradigm, which it relies exclusively on Cartesian principles, analyzing, comparing, criticizing, and judging. We approach the world in that way, a kind of a suspicious way of approaching the world. And it polarizes us by thinking about things in that way. And that polarization creates personal and relational problems, personal within and relations between ourselves and others. We've also seen how employing a new paradigm, according to which we are accepting, caring, compassionate, and open to love with a capital L, how that can create fulfilling and lasting relationships. We're also going to touch on the theories of Harville Hendrix, the author of Getting the Love You Want, John Gottman, who created the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse approach to rescuing relationships. And then we will apply these tools to learn how to relate with others by creating dialogues that invite deeper and more expansive communications instead of debates that only increase polarization and destroy the love and ultimately the relationship itself. Finally, we'll explore ways to be more open to life and to goodness in others, to create true dialogue and deeper sharing, and how to embody these new behaviors through guided imagery meditation. This is Dr. Emmett Miller, and we're talking about relationships. And you know, relationships are a mess in the world we live in now. From our failure as a planet to address the climate change that's already upon us, our gradual drift towards nuclear war and possible total annihilation, the failure of democracy as it disintegrates under the pressure of autocracies, political polarization, the outright lies and dissembling among our elected officials, our politicians, who then go to Congress and squabble like spoiled children, the political divisions in our neighborhoods, down to the increasing failures of our marriages and our personal relationships. It's a big job, and they're all connected, as you'll see. But there's only one way to approach it rationally, and that is to relax. Our tendency is to become tense when we think about what a rotten shape we've allowed ourselves to get into, or if you prefer, we can blame it on our leaders, but you know, there's only one way to approach it, is to relax. It's not helpful to be angry. It's not helpful to be anxious, to be panicked, to hide in a corner. That's one of the reasons we're in the place that we are now. It's important to relax deeply and accept the truth as it is at this moment, because this is the only way that we can begin to do something about it. Accept that it's true. Don't fight against that truth. To descend into anxiety or fear or frustration or anger is foolish, since it would only activate the monkey mind and thereby shut down our prefrontal cortex, the higher levels of our mind that we desperately need to be functional, so that we can analyze, strategize, and transform this situation. So let's do that now. Find yourself a comfortable place to be in. And let's relax. Take a deep breath in, and as you let it out, let it be a feeling of letting go, simply releasing. Be aware of the pressure of the earth below you as if it's pressing up, supporting you. Imagine you can see a line of force from the center of you going all the way down to the center of the universe, through the center of the earth. It's if you can feel that gravity is pulling the center of you from the center of the earth. Now become aware of the very top of your head and put all of your focus there, noticing any sensations that you may have there in the top of your head. Now moving your focus down to your eyes and feel how they feel. And notice the tiny movements that your eyes make. And if it's comfortable to allow your eyelids to close, you may do that now, because there's nothing that you have to look at out there. And each movement you notice of the muscles of your face relaxes you further. Your facial muscles relax. Become aware of your nose and feel the air entering and leaving. Entering feeling cool, and leaving feeling warm. Let the air do the breathing for you. Allowing all the muscles of your face to relax. And allowing your awareness to spread down through your neck. Allowing any tension you feel to be relaxed and let go. Relax and let go. Notice how every sensation you feel in your body makes you feel more and more relaxed and comfortable as you welcome your awareness of each part of your body. Be aware of your chest and lungs, expanding and contracting with each breath, relaxing you more and more deeply. As you become more and more present in this, the only moment that exists, now. Let your awareness spread its relaxation through your arms, all the way down to each fingertip, feeling the sensations of touch in your fingertips. Then take a deep breath in, draw the relaxation from your fingertips up into the center of your chest, and as you let that breath be released, feel yourself sink into that pause after you've breathed out and before the next breath comes in. And feel the rising and falling of your abdomen with each breath in. A gentle massage of relaxation to all your internal organs. Your lower back relaxing. Relaxation spreading down through your pelvic organs, legs and feet. Experience your abdomen as it rises and falls. A gentle massage of relaxation to all your internal organs. Good. Allowing yourself to be aware of your pelvis and hips, the sensation of your weight pressing down, taking you ever more deeply into a state of relaxation. Giving yourself permission to remain present, to experience with your mind and your body and your emotions, and allow openness at the spiritual and wisdom levels of your being. Allow yourself to be completely here, breathing out any unnecessary thoughts. And I'm going to request that you not only simply hear these words and understand their intellectual meaning. I want you to open up and feel the deeper meanings of the messages these words bring to you as I speak them. So gradually allow your awareness to return to the place where your body is resting peacefully, that place that we refer to as being here and now. Alert, allowing your eyelids to gently open. Good. Great. And now I want to review with you some of the things we've talked about already, in particular, the qualities of healthy relationships. In a healthy relationship, there's safety. Think about safety, how it feels. There's mutual respect. Think about respect and how it feels when you feel respected. And think about how it feels for you to respect someone else. Appreciation. How does it feel to be appreciated or to appreciate? There's acknowledgement and responsiveness. There's generosity and honesty. There's openness. There's balance. There's harmony. And there's joy and inspiration. Feel what those qualities are. And of course, there's affection. There's gratitude. You feel gratitude for having the gift of this relationship and the wisdom to truly enjoy it. Your ability to forgive, because forgiveness sets you free, not only the other person. In healthy relationships, there's intimacy. And finally, there's love. Of what value are healthy relationships? Healthy relationships are the highest predictors of physical health, of happiness, and of longevity. Now, we talked about the old paradigm and the new paradigm, what I call the paradigm shift that's so important to us at this time. The old paradigm is based upon, again, analysis, comparing, contrasting, analyzing, criticizing, and judging. And we can use that when we think about ourselves or in our relationships with other people. It's analytical, either or, black or white. It's differentiating. It's fragmenting. You break things into smaller and smaller pieces to look at them. The Cartesian way of thinking, good or bad. It's exclusive, judgmental, and often contemptuous, rejecting, debating, and attacking. And we see that kind of thinking as it develops into racism, sexism, supremacy thinking, homophobia, nationalism, anti-Semitism, elitism, xenophobia, ableism. All of these require analysis and judgment and criticism. Ageism, all of them. And when we look inside, that way of thinking about ourselves gives rise to shame and guilt, insecurity, social anxiety, criticism and judgment of ourselves, resentment, frustration, anger, rage, and paranoia at ourselves and others. That's the old paradigm. And there's something violent about it, so I call it violence, because it is violent in a certain way. Now, sometimes, yes, we need to think in that way, for sure. But most of us and most of the world tend to use that way of thinking 99% of the time. There's another way of thinking that I use the word love to describe it. It's a holistic way of looking at things, where I'm looking for wholes. I'm looking for connections. I'm looking at how things relate to each other. I'm looking to see what is good, not just to pick apart what is bad. I want to see what's functioning well. And I want to strengthen that, because that's where healing comes from. Healing doesn't come from looking at something that's sick. The qualities of this kind of thinking are we have shared values, integration, inclusiveness, both, and it's caring, there's harmony, empathy, collective intelligence, coherence, all those positive qualities. That love, which I call the urge to merge, it started life from the very beginning. It had that urge to merge. And it is that urge to merge that brings us together with those that we love. And that the principles of the new paradigm are what I introduced in my 2009 book, Our Culture on the Couch, 7 Steps to Global Healing. I published it in a hurry because I was afraid that terrible things were going to happen. And those are, of course, all the things that have now happened. I had hoped that we were all going to read it and be responsive and responsible, but alas, we have not done that. Now we want to talk about being the love that we are. You know, as someone once said, you can't buy love, but you can invest in it. Yeah, think about that for a moment. A number of years ago, Eric Fromm wrote a book called The Art of Loving, which is a thought-provoking exploration of what it truly means to love. And he argues that love is not simply a feeling like, oh, I feel in love, I fell in love, like it was a mistake, like you fell off a bridge. Instead, it's an art that must be practiced and cultivated in order to be truly experienced. He talks about the importance of self-love and the need to break free from the cultural norms and the societal pressures that are out there. Most people have no idea what love is, or only a fragmentary idea, or an occasional. But if you break free from it, you can truly experience love. Fromm asserts that to love is a conscious choice that requires effort and commitment, you know, not like, oh, I'm falling in love, oh, I'm out of control. Not at all. It's through self-awareness and discipline and patience that we can learn to actively choose love and create meaningful connections with others. And now I'd like to explore with you some of the specific awarenesses and disciplines that have proven so very helpful in getting the love that we want. Getting the Love You Want is a book by Harville Hendrix, who focuses on how to create and maintain healthy and fulfilling romantic relationships. I'm giving you these books because they've been crucial in my learning. And you know, we're looking back, I guess Fromm is maybe back in what, the 50s or 60s, and Harville Hendrix, I think this book was out in the 60s or 70s. But how beautiful the ideas, and they're so effective if we learn it. And one of the things he pointed out that was impressive to me was that often couples get together because they have matching neurotic needs. In other words, we're drawn to partners who have similar emotional wounds and similar unmet needs. These needs can include something like a need for approval or control or security and others. But by seeking out partners with matching neurotic needs, we subconsciously hope to fulfill our own unmet needs through the relationship. In other words, we come together, and part of our falling in love is because we can heal each other and we become more whole as individuals, which allows us to become more one with our partner. But if we don't know how to handle it, it leads to unfulfillment and conflict because we become polarized, because we don't see that our partners need the same thing that we do, and we're so busy trying to get what we want or overthinking what the other person needs and ignoring ourselves and not having a balance. But when we become aware of these patterns and when we work to heal our emotional wounds, we can break free from these cycles and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. And he shows you some excellent ways of doing this. And next, I want to talk about John Gottman's work. He developed the concept of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which of course originally comes from Revelations in the Bible. But he talks about the four horsemen of the apocalypse in the sense that there are four things that we do in our relationships that destroy our relationships. And those four horsemen are criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. Criticism involves attacking a partner's character or their personality. Criticism, how harmful that is. Defensiveness involves responding with defensiveness. And often that's how we respond to criticalness, denying any responsibility at all and blaming the partner, all of which simply escalate the argument. Then comes contempt, when we treat a partner with disrespect or disgust. You see how we're getting worse and worse with each of these horsemen? And contempt is expressed through insults, sarcasm, mocking, which lead to feelings of hurt and rejection, name calling. You're like your mother. You're nothing but a lazy, good for nothing. I mean, you got it. That's contempt. And finally, there's stonewalling, in which we build a wall and withdraw from the interaction or conversation. This prevents any communication and problem solving. During our last session, we talked about using what I call the SAD technique, to where you say to a person, when you did so-and-so, I felt so-and-so because I thought that so-and-so, and I'm wondering, is my thinking right, or is that where you were coming from or not? And then you open to hear what's happening for the other person. That's a way of breaking through the stone walling. We have to understand that the significant problems of our times cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that was used when they were being created. So Gottman suggests that couples who can recognize and address these communication styles can improve their relationship and avoid destructive patterns. To change these behaviors, he recommends adopting a more positive and constructive approach to communication. And this involves focusing on and expressing our needs and feelings in a non-blaming way. Very important. It takes so much practice to not be blaming. It's amazing. And yet, of course, you know it's wrong to blame. To listen with empathy and to take responsibility for one's own emotions and actions. To overcome criticism, couples can learn to express their needs and requests in positive and specific ways, rather than through attacking their partner's character. Defensiveness can be overcome by taking responsibility for one's own role in the conflict and validating the partner's perspective. Contempt can be replaced by showing appreciation and admiration. Stonewalling can be addressed by taking a break, engaging in self-soothing activities such as deep relaxation or meditation, before returning to the conversation. It is truly like magic. So overall, then, overcoming negative communication patterns. And Gottman's talking about in close relationships, but all of these principles refer to others, like people in your family, your extended family, people that you work with, your friends, anyone. You can use these same principles. Of course, when you're doing with someone that where you have a deep and intimate relationship, you can be completely open. It's easily, when you're approaching someone who has no idea what you're doing, when you start being open with them, you may want to do it gently and make sure that a person can grow into someone who can be open to you and caring, and also come from self-awareness and empathy, and make a commitment to positive communication. That's how we do it. By working together to change these behaviors, we can create healthier, more loving, and more fulfilling relationships. Okay, now the next thing that I want to go on, and we're getting really specific now. One of the most important aspects of communication is your attitude, your mental set, and that of the person that you're with. And so we want to have a set, an open willingness to learn in how our minds, our hearts are set. And so what we want to have is a dialogue with people, not a debate, not a debate. I'll talk about the difference between them. Dialogue comes from the Greek word dialogos. Logos means the word or the meaning of the word. Dia means through. It's in dialogue. It doesn't mean to, it means through. So a dialogue is a stream of meaning flowing through and between us. And so I'm going to talk about two styles of communication, dialogue and debate. And as you listen, think about which fits your pattern of communication, which has in the past, and which fits the pattern of people in your life. Then ask yourself, how might the conversation be different if you switched to the dialogue approach? Remember, now dialogue is an interchange and discussion of ideas openly and frankly, because you're seeking mutual understanding and harmony. That is the upgrade we will be looking at. In a debate, you listen to the other person only to list your rebuttals. You know how that is. You're listening to them and you're thinking of, say, I don't agree with that. No, that couldn't be right. You're not really listening to them. This is an intelligent person. Respect that they have reasons, even if you don't know what those reasons are. Therefore, to be in dialogue, you listen and then list their points. Understand what their points are. And occasionally you might even say, well, what I hear you saying is three things, 1, 2, 3. And if they go, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't mean you agree with them. You just let them know that you hear them. Man, that is so important. It's a way of respecting the other person. And that leaves the other person more open to hear you. Now, in a debate, you tend to defend your position. In a dialogue, you're more interested in fully hearing and understanding the other person's position. In a debate, you're always busy proposing answers. In a dialogue, you want to understand their ideas. Get a feeling of what the difference is between these two, because I'm sure you've been in both places at one time or another during your life. In a debate, you're interpreting and criticizing or judging other people's behaviors or thoughts as being right or wrong. In a dialogue, you simply observe and describe the behavior, but don't evaluate it. Debate, that's old paradigm thinking, either or. So it's either this or this, and this is the best way, and it's my way is the best way. Or, oh, do I have to give up and let it be your way? In a dialogue, you're thinking more or less without evaluating. When I tell the story again and again, but I get the feeling of it. And the two sisters come into the kitchen, and there's an orange in the middle of the kitchen table. And both the sisters grab at the orange simultaneously, and it ends up with each one having a hand on the orange and beating away on the other one. The father comes in and says, "Stop your fighting. Now you're both sisters and you're equal, and we share things equally." And he takes the orange and he cuts the orange into two pieces and gives half to each girl. And well, the girls are happy the other one didn't get more than they got, but gosh, they still eye the other half. The mother comes in at that moment. She says to the first, "What did you want the orange for?" She says, "I was making a fruit salad and I wanted the flesh of the orange to put in my fruit salad." She asks the other, "What did you want the orange for?" She says, "I was making marmalade and I needed the rind of the orange to make marmalade." She took the same orange and divided it differently, and both girls were 100% satisfied. It's only when we open and hear what's behind it that we can begin to see that there's a wholeness that you can't see when you're only looking at a way of looking at it that looks at the polar differences. In a debate, you're giving advice on what's best. In a dialogue, you're sharing your ideas and your information. In a debate, you're evaluating the other person's ideas and views. In a dialogue, you accept their views and you disclose your views. In a debate, you're busy trying to overcome the other person's objections. In a dialogue, you respect that they see it in a different way. In a debate, you ask, "Why don't you?" And you should. But in a dialogue, instead, you ask, "How can we?" In a debate, you're striving to win. Watch people when they have arguments. I sometimes will see a couple and they tell me they had this terrible argument on Friday and they haven't talked to each other for the whole week. And I go, "What was the argument about?" And they look at each other and they can't remember what the argument was about. I mean, they can remember the nasty things they said to each other. They can remember not being accepted. They can remember the look of rejection and anger on their partner's face. Don't strive to win. Be as in a dialogue where you're seeking mutual gain. And finally, in a debate, you're trying to score points, like you're trying to build your track record, like it's for some reason you're going to get paid for winning. Yeah, but in the dialogue, you're building relationships. And then you go on to create more mutual benefits. Okay, I'm going to move on to spirituality. I was a militant agnostic all the way through high school and college. I had been exposed to a fair amount of religion, but I was pretty turned off by the wars, by the hatred, by the blame. The Jews and then the Christians and Muslims, and you have it, and everyone thinks their God is the right God, and they put down the ones on the other side. And I'm just like, how do you know? How can you both be certain? Isn't there a single truth? We're all both standing on the planet Earth. We're both breathing air. That's the truth. You're not breathing sand. You can't say, "Well, I'm breathing sand." No, there is such a thing as reality. But that's not what religious people seem to be looking for. And, on the other hand, religion, I found that religion was common to most groups of human beings who had lived together successfully. Each of the great religions became great as part of a great nation and community, large community of people who come together. So there's a power in it. And as a matter of fact, in my medical practice, and doing the work that I did and helping people learn self-healing and eliminate stress and change their lives and transform their world, those people who had an active belief in a higher power always seem to do better than the really clever atheists who would say, well, if God can do anything at all, can he make a rock so big that he can't lift it? Right. But they didn't do very well. Whereas a guy who believed there's a guy with a big white beard sitting on a throne in the sky, but he could change and heal his body. So there's something in this process of belief. And so I developed my own spirituality. I began to believe in belief because I could see that people who believed could transform themselves. So I believed in belief. And out of that grew the other details on my rather personal approach to religion and to spirituality. Gandhi said, well, so spirituality is the process of separating the superficial from the essential. Gandhi said, the ally you must always seek is the part of your adversary that knows what is right. Think about that. The ally you must always seek, part of your adversary that knows what is right. And you'll see that underneath this recommendation is a notion there's something good and beautiful in that adversary. And that's what you're looking for. Again, the meaning of namaste we see so often in that part of the world, India and Nepal, says there's a place of beauty and love and spirituality in you, place of beauty and love and spirituality in me. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, there's only one of us. And namaste is a prayer to that place, an acknowledgement of it, an affirmation of it. And after you do this about 150 times a day in Nepal and India, then you begin experiencing that that's true. So I found it easier to accept the principles of Eastern philosophy. This fellow that's mutually hugging with me is Baba Ram Dass. He is one of the first people that I had ever met who taught about meditation. He wrote a fabulous book called Remember, Be Here Now, published in the 60s. It's a very creative book, but it has all the basic information. It didn't make any sense to me, but I kept reading it. And after a year or two, I began to develop the notion of a way that I could meditate. And I found the internal spirituality for myself. And I went on to meet Ram Dass. We became really good friends and we've taught retreats together. So I found it easier to accept the principles of Eastern religions because they were about relaxation, whereas our world was about greed and getting more. The yin yang, again, from the Oriental part of the world, from the East, the origins of the yin yang go back to about three centuries BC. And it describes two complementary forces, the yin and the yang, that make up all aspects and phenomena of life. It encompasses the actual process of the universe and all that is in it. The yin and yang are depicted as the light and dark halves of the circle. The yin is a symbol of the earth, femaleness, darkness, passivity, absorption, and mystery. The yang is conceived of as heaven, maleness, light, activity, and penetration. Point of it all is, instead of looking at the black versus the white as opposites, they are two complementary parts of the whole, which cannot exist without both of them. They're necessary. It's not like you can get rid of the yin and just have the yang. I mean, you're not going to have anything resembling health or goodness. And you'll notice there's a white dot in the middle of the black yang, and there's a black dot in the middle, a white dot in the middle of the black yin, and a black dot in the middle of the white yang. And what they mean by that is in everything is the seed of its apparent opposite. Think of that, because there's your enemy, your adversary. And even though they may look black, there is a white seed within, and vice versa. You can look for the beauty that's in something that may seem very, very ugly. The Tao is the way through it. It balances the black and white. The Tao is the essence of the universe. The middle way, it is that. The Tao is that with which we must harmonize to live healthy and happy. And the Tao is the eternally nameless. That which can be named, that Tao which can be named, is not the true Tao. It's a philosophy that there's a right way to live life, and it means finding and following the Tao or path of your life and also the universe. One of my favorite readings from the Tao Te Ching is 30 spokes share the wheel's hub. It is the center hole that makes it useful. Hollowed out clay makes a pot. It is the space within that makes it useful. Cut doors and windows for a room. It is the holes that make the house useful. So there's profit in what is there, like the clay or the wood of the house, but it's in the use. The use of it comes from what isn't there. So it's a special way of looking at the beauty of emptiness. And incidentally, it's through meditation on the Tao Te Ching that led to my creating the program that I have that's called Accepting Change and Moving On. So I highly, highly recommend that to you. And what I like to do is to pause for a moment to give you a little information as to how you can follow up on some of these basic ideas. Of course, you can go back to drmiller.com/life meditations, and you can see the other two programs in this series on relationships. But if you go to shop.drmiller.com, you can find the love meditation with transformative imagery, cultivating imagination for healing, growth, and change. Accepting change and moving on is a way to learn to let go of the things you need to let go from your life that are mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, or physical objects and people around you, so that you can open up to what's new. That's the one that's based on the Tao Te Ching. Creating your island of peace is crucially important when your emotions begin to lead you to deviate from the principles of good, healthy, loving communication. Find your island of peace. As your emotions grow quiet, suddenly your creativity shows you a new way. It's so amazing. If you have a lot of trouble with anxiety and fear, yet abolish anxiety. 4 different processes for learning to eliminate anxiety and fear. The Serenity Prayer is an in-depth look at the meaning of the Serenity Prayer, which is having the serenity to accept the things that you can't change, the courage to change the things that you can change, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. I mentioned before, Our Culture on the Couch, 7 Steps to Global Healing. It's available as a book. It's available as an ebook. You can download it. It's available as a narration. I'm reading it for you. So I did everything I could to get it out to you. The video that's useful is called Heal Your Relationships, the Power of Your Mind to Heal Your Relationships. And let me promote once again the movie Live Life, which is still there on your Amazon channel, called Live Life, which shows you how new paradigm thinking can enable near miraculous transformation in your life by tracing it through the lives of those who are generously sharing their experience with you in this movie. You can see it by going to drmiller.com/live life. That's drmiller.com/live life. And to let you know that I'm coming out of partial retirement, and I'm available for coaching, for personal coaching, for transforming your life. If it is a medical or clinical issue that needs to be addressed, and if you're in California, then I'm available to consult with you as a physician. Again, you can just go to drmiller.com and you will find out how to get to me. And thank you for your donations, and please keep your donations coming. The easiest way to do that, you can send a check to Emmett Miller, MD, Post Office Box 803, Nevada City, California, 95959. Or go to PayPal and send it to accounting@drmiller.com. You can also go to the website shop.drmiller.com/donate. So finally, to finish up, I want to talk about the golden rule. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It seems that when you look around, you'll find out that sometimes it looks like our beliefs from the beliefs that how we differ in our beliefs, it sometimes seems to be as different as our languages. But if you look deeper, you can find the similarities. The golden rule is one of those similarities, because all religions have been teaching aspects of this truth, or else they wouldn't have survived. Notice the statement, love thy enemies. Of course you need to love your enemies as well as your friends. They're also part of you. Perhaps they're the part of you that you fear, that you don't like about yourself, and that you refuse to accept in yourself. The part of you that you don't want anyone to know about, including yourself. Well, if you don't like what you see in yourself, if you don't like what you see in others, take a good hard look at yourself. Mirrors don't lie. And so all these other cultures have the golden rule in them, one after another, whatever they are. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. That's the golden rule from the Bible. This is the sum of duty, to do naught unto others which would cause you pain if done to you. That's from the Mahabharata in Hinduism. Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. That's from the Udana Varga in Buddhism. Surely it is the maxim of loving kindness. Do not unto others that you would not have them do unto you. That's Confucianism from Confucius's Analects. No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself. That's from the Sunnah, the sayings of Muhammad from Islam. What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow men. That is the entire law. All the rest is commentary. That's from Judaism. And that's from the Talmud, Shabbat. So what we're saying here is that, and even though all of these different religions, and it goes on through all the others, I won't do that, but I think the problem is that the world that people look at when they get locked into a religion is, let's say you're in Islam. Well, yeah, you do want to desire for your brother that which you desire for yourself, but you only see as being your brother people who happen to be of your specific religion, in fact, your specific sect. In fact, they go out and kill each other, the Shia versus the Sunnis. I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, they both, revere Jesus and Muhammad, and yet they go out and kill each other because they don't agree on the nephew of Muhammad or something like that. Well, what we need, that's old paradigm thinking again. If you open your paradigm and say it goes for everybody, what is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow man, not only those who live in your community or on your side of the tracks or in the same color, state blue or red that you're in, open to everyone. And that is straight away, clear and simple, what it is that is so crucially important at this point for us individually and as communities and as a world. And the future is not someplace we're going. It's a place that we are creating this very moment with every thought, word, and action. Take a moment to embody those principles that we've been exposing ourselves to. Take a deep breath in, relax into that comfortable place. That little pause after you breathe out and before you breathe in again. And let your eyelids relax all the way down to the point they don't want to open. When they're so relaxed they don't want to open, gently test them. And send that relaxation and the beauty and the miracle of relaxation throughout all the rest of your body. Feel it flowing from your eyelids into your forehead and through your scalp and your face and down through your neck and your shoulders and your arms, all the way down through your beautiful body, all the way down through your legs and your knees, all the way down through your beautiful feet, right out through the tips of your toes. Good. And allow yourself to feel a sense of gratitude that all these gifts exist within you now. Take a deep breath in, and as you let it out, let it be a feeling of releasing. Let the air breathe you. And as you're breathing in, let yourself be aware, I'm breathing in. With each breath out, allow yourself to be aware, I'm breathing out. That's all. Breathing in, breathing out. Let go of all other thoughts. This is a breathing meditation you can do anytime. Breathing in, I relax. Breathing out, I let go. Sinking down into that little pause after you've breathed out and before you breathe in again. And let yourself begin to travel through space and time. And imagine that each breath is your very first breath. Each moment is the very first moment. Each breath is a miracle. Each breath, a miracle that breathes in life and light, breathing in love. It is love that starts each new breath. It is love that created all that you are, all that you know, all that you have. Love stretching back through time. Feel it in each new breath, that love that you are, that love that you feel. As you think about the people in your life that you love and how deeply you love them, bring them into this moment spiritually and honor that love that you feel one by one, each child, each relative, each beloved friend, and feel gratitude for that love. That's it. Gratitude for that love that begins each new breath, flowing into you like a golden river of light. Notice where this golden river of light enters your body, probably in your chest, probably near your heart, breathing golden light, love flowing into your heart. And let it flow throughout all the rest of your body, healing, balancing, and soothing, surrounding you like a golden glow. Good. Surrounding you like loving, pure arms of that spirit that flows through all things, that higher being, that power that has created all this beauty and all this love. And that's what you're here for. That loving message of beauty that reflects to you the love that you are inside. And let yourself know that there's a little one within you that needs to feel that love and acceptance. That tiny little being inside you that needs to feel this love too. See her, hold her, and let her know that this confusion in the world, the lack of love, is not her fault. This little X chromosome, this little him or her, it's not their burden to carry. They're here to feel that pure love. Let that part of you feel that pure love. And let go of all guilt, let go of all shame, and feel forgiveness. Feel the deep sense of gratitude within you. The gratitude to all those that you have loved and love you. Good. And now visualize yourself gently and gradually flowing, returning back to your daily life with a sense of resolve, the clear intention to be more open to love, to have a growth mindset, to be willing to relax yourself deeply into the moment and release unnecessary tension so that you can listen to others with focus, that you can allow yourself to feel empathy and compassion for others and for yourself. Allowing yourself to call upon your wisdom and spiritual inspiration to guide your choices of what you feel, of what you think, of what you say, of what you do. Choose wisely and lovingly in your relationships and bring into mind an image of yourself in the future, loving, wise, compassionate, honest, and joyful. And let this deeper and more spacious and expansive awareness of your true self be your guide. In each relationship, envision yourself doing that now. Good. And turn to that spiritual, wise part of yourself and ask for guidance, maybe for an affirmation or a special quote or a special bit of information your spirit guides want you to have now as you go forth to being wide awake. And letting this future image of yourself guide your choices today. Coming all the way back feeling wide awake, alert and comfortable. I look forward to being with you again next month. If you signed up, if you go to drmiller.com, drmiller.com, and sign up, then you will get mailings that tell you in 4 weeks we will have the next webinar, and I will tell you what it's all about. But in order to stay as completely as possible in the moment, I'll wait until I'm clearer about what message needs to come through next time. Thank you all for being here. Look forward to seeing you again. Namaste. And just to mention again, the products that are relevant to our program today: the love meditation, accepting change and moving on, creating your island of peace, abolish anxiety, serenity prayer, the book Our Culture on the Couch, 7 Steps to Global Healing, the DVD Heal Your Relationships, Healing Our Planet, and the movie Live Life. You can go to drmiller.com/livelife, and it'll show you just how to get to that movie. Past life meditations at drmiller.com/life-meditations. Personal coaching by calling my office. Should be easy to find. Dr. Emmett Miller in Nevada City, California. Donations, thank you so much. Checks to Emmett Miller, Post Office Box 803, Nevada City, California. Then your check, write donation in the memo line, so we'll know why you're sending us money. PayPal, go to accounting@drmiller.com, and on the website, shop.drmiller.com/donate.